So let me ask you this, and this is something that we can talk about because this is my career, and you can be as full disclosure as you want to be on this.
Sure.
We started working together, gosh, probably a couple of years ago. Do you remember what was the first trademark I even used? Le Champion, maybe, or
no? It would have been
Alpha. Was it when I was at New Japan? Maybe.
Painmaker. It might have been Painmaker. It might have been Painmaker, and leading to some of the things that you referenced earlier. A little bit of the bubbly.
Gotcha. So a little bit of bubbly was very early on AEW, and Painmaker I was using in New Japan. So
right.
I think you're right. Painmaker might have been the first, but anyways, by the time I got to AEW, we were already working together.
Yes.
You, and this still is very strange to me, but like I said, we can talk as much as you want to talk about this. When I came to AEW, and we talked earlier right here on this show that I mentioned, I have owned the name Chris Jericho since late 98. Been using it since my very first match, October 2nd, 1990.
Yep.
Have the program from Ponoka, Alberta to prove it. When I left WWE, you found out that they had trademarked my name in every single country that either I had been or that they run their TV in.
Yeah. So they have, it's evil genius is the term I'll use. Evil genius on their part. They make as part of their contracts. Okay, Chris, you list out everything that's yours, that you own, the wrestler IP. Then you would have listed in the end,
You're right.
Chris Jericho and any of those things that Jericho and
Dockins Jericho, I think the Millennium Man was in there. Some very random ones, Y2J Bug or some shit like that.
Right. Like, Lion Salt you might have put in there, things like that.
Yeah, right.
And they say, that's great. You own that. But then they put this provision in their agreement. These agreements are 30 pages long, as you know. They're long as hell. And one of the provisions says, you agree that while you are here with us, we have the right to file in our own name for your IP. So they're able to, by contract, because you agreed to let them, and everybody agrees. I'm not saying Chris Jericho screwed up. It's just part of their common contract that says they can file for your IP owned by WWE. So that's while you're under contract.
Right.
So then when you're not under contract, they're not allowed to own it anymore. The problem is most people forget, don't look into it, don't do it, go back and say, well, what did they protect? And so when you and I started working together, I said, well, yeah, you do own Chris Jericho. You're right. So do they. Like, they do? Yeah, they do. And I think I had these conversations with Barry, and then Barry said, Chris is going to want to hear this. Let's call him. So we got on a 3-way call. And I said, yeah, they own it for, this, that, and the other. I said, I think we should ask for it back, or at least ask them to abandon it. They shouldn't have anything in their name. And so reached out to them, and they were very easy to work with. Slow, but easy to work with. And they said, okay, we'll sign it. We'll sign it back to Chris. And so I tried to make life easier for them. I sent them an assignment that I had prepared. It's kind of a 1-page document, very simple, very straightforward. Just says, this is who we are. This is what we own. This is who you are. You're going to own it. We transfer it. Has the magic language you need in there, and that's it. They send back their version, and it's like 3.5 pages long. They just overly complicate it. And I kind of understand why. What they're doing is restating all the rights they have, which is, hey, while Chris worked here, we got to use his image on pay-per-views and TV shows, and we can do that in perpetuity. Of course they can. I mean, you would never fight that. Nobody would fight that. That's just part of the contract and part of the deal of wrestling for a TV program. Anyway, they send the assignment and got it back, and they said, we didn't list all of the trademarks in that contract. We added them as an attachment, and I flipped over the attachment, and it's like 45 countries. Whoa.
And dude, when he says 45 countries, we're talking Thailand, Taiwan, New Zealand, Lithuania,
Austria,
Austria,
Singapore,
you name it,
Europe,
Zimbabwe,
Canada.
Timbuktu, like every country that they probably have a television program in, Chris Jericho was trademarked.
Yeah, and you had no idea.
I had no idea.
I remember showing it to you. You said, hey, Chris, you need to sign this so I can send it back. It was after some Dynamite or some pay-per-view or something. You looked at it and you go, what the hell is this? I said, yeah, this is...
I was pissed because, once again, this is behind my back.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, but dude, I own Chris Jericho. And he said, yes, you do. But
that contract, that one provision,
borrowed it.
Yeah.
While you were there. And then it's almost like if you subscribe to, I don't know, let's say I subscribe to Hulu because I want to see freaking, I don't know, fast foodies. And as soon as fast foodie season is over, I don't want to subscribe anymore, but I forget.
Yeah.
And they just keep charging me every month and don't tell you. This is kind of the same thing. They just trademark it until you happen to remember. Like,
until you happen
really?
to...
We forgot about this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly what it is. And I don't think I'm telling any state secrets here, but whenever I showed that to you, go, come here. We need to go talk to Matt. And Matt Hardy had just gotten with the company.
That's right.
And you showed it to him, and you were like, Matt, you might want to look at this. And Matt, I'm happy to find out for you. And he was like, are you serious? And he looked at it, he flipped it over and like, my God, they're everywhere.
Had they done the same thing to him?
Not everywhere, but yes.